Welcome to Learn the Sword. From our last daily, I was speaking about how to shibodu, or how to ring the handle a little bit better. And then I started thinking, well, a lot of us think when we start ringing the handle, we usually just ring it with our hands and our wrists. As a general rule over in Japan, you use your body and you use your shoulders and you ring out from your shoulders to your elbows, to your forearms, to your wrists, then through the palms of your hands. Of course, you use the digits, but you use the digits to grab onto the handle. So what happens is that when I swing down, I'm not going to have a lot of this type of movement here, which is fine if we're using like a fly swatter or a light piece of bamboo or a swizzle stick where we can get in there and go bang, 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 sort of like thumping the kid's ear when we were in grade school during the winter. So what I want you to look at, if you can get in there with a real light stick and go bang and bang and bang like that, you can see that your wrist can handle the stress. But if you start casting out a heavier sword, like say a 2,000-gram sword, that's a really heavy sword. I mean, that thing's huge. The average sword is about 1,000 grams, or about 2 pounds. So if you go between a 3 and a 4 pound sword, which anything over a 3 pound sword is pretty big in Japanese swordsmanship. But then again, you start throwing out that sword really hard. What's going to happen is, if your wrists aren't set up, they're going to malfunction. Just like being a pugilist and putting on the gloves without any tape and hitting the target as hard as you can, and your wrist gives a little bit and then you get an injury in your wrist. Same type of injury using the sword if you put too much effort, too much stress, too much English on your wrists. So remember, when you cast out, don't let it start and stop here. Lift up the sword, and when you cast out, almost feel like you're putting your shoulders and your arms together, and your elbows, you're pressing them together to make them really tight. So lots of people, when they cast out, they open up their arms really wide like this, and then they go whoo and cast out, and they have this really full wave cast like that. See that? And I'm throwing it out and I'm feeling really good. Well, it's nice, but it's never consistent. Remember, if you want to cut like a machine, you got to be a machine. Therefore, if you take your hands down here, you shibori them pretty tight and you lift them up. Look at my elbows. They're really close in. They're not out like this. I don't need to see over this way. I can just turn my head and see this. See that? I can do this. I don't have to pull my hands over the back of my head to go, okay, and pull my head forward. It's very uncomfortable. But that's what it seems like we need to do. Not really. So when we shibodu, we keep it nice and tight. Here to here. See where it is and tight. And when you throw out, the elbows don't move as much. The hands don't move as much. But the area here, all the way out to your palms, starts shibodying, starts ringing it outwards. So here's a slight little exercise that can help you shibodu, or help you ring the handle a little bit better. As a general rule, instead of taking the blade and bringing it like this and ringing it like this, I want you to take one hand here and slap it on this side, and this hand here and slap it on this side, and take it about middle of the blade, or sorry, middle of the handle, like you're in a praying position, praying hands, and now pushing the palms together and lifting it above your head. And now what I want you to do is just cut down, lift up, cut down, lift up, and start pushing out this way. It's going to feel real weak. It's going to feel like you can't maneuver, but start throwing out the sword this way, and then this way, and start working it around. Of course, you're going to get a lot of pain here, and it'll be really warm really fast. But you'll start understanding it isn't how you squeeze and wring the blade. It's how you take the blade and cast it out smoothly so it hits the target and comes back in a natural position, so you can do the exact same thing if you need to.